Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking about that damn Nick Wright. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Now, look, Nick Wright to me is one of, or if not, the biggest trolls that we got going. And it's not even a joke. I mean 100% of what I'm saying. I mean that. I don't think Nick Wright believes the vast majority of what he says. I just think he goes out there and says things to piss people off, troll them, get their blood boiling, and then just say things. All right? Just says crazy things. Nick Wright, the day I stopped taking Nick Wright seriously was when he said, and I remember it, was the day he said that at no point in Kobe's career was he ever viewed as the best player in the world. Up until that point, I had never heard an a sports fan, an NBA fan say that. The second person I've heard say something like this is Draymond Green. Those are the two people I've heard in the history of talking basketball say those ridiculous things. But it was from that point that I realized I can't take this guy seriously. And then time went on, and then we found out that Nick Wright is being represented by Clutch, but I think he said it himself. And then therefore we begin to understand why he says some of the crazy stuff that he says about Michael Jordan on a daily basis. But apparently he just doesn't limit himself to saying these type of things in the NBA world. Apparently he does this when he's discussing other sports. And it seems like Bill Simmons from The Ringer basically came out and called out Nick Wright on an article that we unearthed this morning from awfulannouncing.com, where he basically accuses Nick Wright of being a damn hot take artist. But before we even get into what Bill Simmons had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit matchup up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's get into what this article had to say here. It starts off with the headline saying, Bill Simmons accuses Nick Wright of just throwing crazy takes out hoping to get aggregated. It's been a bit since Bill Simmons entered the ring with a sports media rival, but the sports guy is back. During the latest episode of the Bill Simmons podcast, going through the NFL win total over unders for the AFC, Simmons took a pop shot at FS1 host Nick Wright over Wright's propensity for hot takes. Not only did Simmons accuse Wright of throwing unsubstantiated bold opinions out for attention, he did it while simultaneously making the case for C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans to dethrone Wright's beloved Kansas City Chiefs. Defending his excitement for the Texans this season, Simmons said, the case for Houston being KC in the AFC title game or round 2, whenever it happens for me, because I was really trying to think, do I really believe this? I don't want to do like Nick Wright. I'm just throwing crazy takes out hoping to get aggregated. Sorry, Nick. Simmons continued by stating that he was bullish on Houston's regular season bona fides and home field advantage over the Chiefs, but the damage was already done. Now, that's what Bill Simmons said there. I want to give you guys an example of the practical application of what Bill Simmons is talking about as it pertains to Nick Wright, because this is exactly what Nick Wright did, I personally believe, to turn himself into a household name. Back in 2017, May of 2017, Nick Wright and Chris Carter went on Undisputed back when Shannon Sharp and these guys were there. I believe Joy Taylor was the host at the time. So they invited him on to talk about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. And at the beginning of the segment, Nick Wright began to speak. And he started off with one of the most ridiculous GOAT arguments you will ever hear, quote, you will ever hear anyone say on television. And it was these comments that put him on the map. And if you go look at the video today on YouTube, that video has about 3.5 million views. It's his most viewed video on YouTube. So for those of you who don't remember the craziness that Nick Wright spewed all over the desk that day, I want to play it for you now. It's only about a minute clip or so, and I'm going to come back and react to this comment. Take a listen to that there.
Nick, what would it take for LeBron to pass Jordan as the GOAT?
Roll. Get him, Nick. All right, so if we're talking about accomplishments, he needs at least a couple more rings, probably one more MVP. But if we're talking about accomplishments, Jordan's not the GOAT, it's Kareem. And if it's not Kareem, it's probably Russell. So we're not really talking about accomplishments. We're talking about who's the best. Who's the best? One game to decide your life. Who do you want in all-time history? So for LeBron to pass Jordan, he needs a time machine to go back about 11 months when he passed him the first time. LeBron's been the best player ever since about midway point of Game 6 of last year's finals, and all he's done since then is continue that. He's on the greatest streak in postseason history since Dre called him the B word and Clay said his feelings were hurt. He's played 16 games. His team's 15-1, giving you 34, 9, 8, and 55% shooting. And when we're just comparing the two players, LeBron averages more rebounds, assists, blocks, steals than Jordan, shoots a better percentage from 2, shoots a better percentage from 3, is the more versatile defender, can guard all 5 positions. He can do everything Jordan could do, but better. So what does he need to do to pass Michael Jordan? He already done past Michael Jordan as far as who's the best player ever.
So you heard what Nick Wright had to say, right? That's what he had to say. At the time when he said that, what we call that today, I don't think there was a term for it then, but there's a term for it now. It's called rage bait. You ever heard of clickbait? Clickbait is when you promise one thing and you do something else. Rage bait is when you say something that will infuriate people and then they now react to you. And all of a sudden you've generated attention for yourself, which you then can monetize if you know how to do it properly. Those are rage bait comments. Something to get people annoyed. Then they now tune in to try to hear what you're saying and then cuss you out or whatever. And before you know it, you're building yourself a platform. That's what Nick Wright did. That is exactly what, and he didn't stop. He hasn't stopped ever since then. Nick Wright even came out there and said that during the top 75 anniversary night in Cleveland, when Jordan came out and got a standing ovation, Nick Wright came out and said that was the last night that Michael Jordan would ever be relevant. That was the last moment he will ever be relevant. This is what Nick Wright said. He said that was the last moment that Michael Jordan will be relevant. And Nick Wright is a Clutch Sports guy. So if you want to know where this is coming from, it's coming from Clutch Sports. They are obsessed with Michael Jordan. I don't understand the obsession with Jordan. I don't understand this obsession. They are obsessed with Michael Jordan. And the irony is, he pays no mind to these people. I was recently listening to an audio of Allen Iverson where he was talking about what it was like when Michael Jordan came to the top 75 anniversary event. And he said, when Michael Jordan walked in the room, he said all 74 of the other players, well, 73 minus, no, yeah, all 74, let's go with his word. All of the other players realized that the GOAT was there. He said the entire energy of the room shifted the moment MJ walked in the room. The moment he walked in, you're talking about the greatest players to ever play this sport. At that moment, they came to the realization, the best guy's here, the best player's here. The GOAT is here. And the energy in the room was palpable. He said you could actually feel it. Well, nobody's saying that about no damn LeBron James, despite his efforts. Hurt your art, you don't get that honor. Shout out to Shine. It hurts your heart you don't get that honor. What am I talking about? Even when Jordan walked out, he got the biggest applause in Cleveland. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how painful that is? When you spend all of your time walking around crowning yourself as the king, you got people like Nick Wright on TV slapping each other with honey all day on a daily basis, hollering and screaming, and at the end of the day, you can't convince nobody of it. Do you know how painful that is? Nick Wright was there crying on TV talking about people made more of a big deal when Kobe passed Jordan than when LeBron passed Hakeem. It's because they don't love you like that, my boy. They don't love you like that. Get it through your head. They don't love you like that. They're not feeling you like that. It's like the rich guy with money, all the money in the world, and he's trying to figure out why the women not in, because they ain't got the swag, son. You ain't got the glow. You ain't got it. You just don't have it. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. You're like, why didn't they care about LeBron when they cared about Kobe Bryant? I mean, they made more of a big deal of Kobe passing Jordan than they did of LeBron. Just sitting there whining and complaining, hollering and screaming, twerking it up all over the place, spilling drinks all over the table, interrupting the show. They got to cut the commercial break because you done spilled the honey all over the table. So these guys, their only hope now is just to say crazy things. But to have a contemporary of it, because a lot of people feel this, by the way. A lot of people feel this. But to have Bill Simmons come out here and say this, well, then there you have it. These are one of your own contemporaries within the space. They say, look, this guy just goes out there and says crazy things to get clicks and views. You heard it there yourself. Folks, these are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.